Another tough win against a tough Cavaliers team. Nice team win. And I'm going to tell you why you should forget what you think Mazzulla Ball is, because we're only just now starting to see it. It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, Keith John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here in the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you every day. Free, fresh podcast dropped directly to your device, whatever your favorite podcasting app is. This show will be there when you subscribe to it, so go ahead and do that. Do it right now, like now. Also, do the same thing on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a subscribe button right down there. You know what to do. And that'd be, a very nice thing to do. The holidays. I'll take that as a gift. If you don't know me by now, I'm John Karalis. I played a long time ago. Now I'm covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. Here to talk about the Boston Celtics 116-107 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their 12th straight win at home. Their second straight win over the Cavs. Today's show brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use that code, all lowercase, LockedOnNBA, for a first deposit match up to $100. Boston Celtics get the win. Later on, I'll talk about Mazzulla Ball. And when I say the words Mazzulla Ball, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about jacking three-pointers and nothing but three-pointers, just threes flying all over the place. That's not actually what Mazzulla Ball really is. We're finally just starting to see what Mazzulla Ball truly is. We'll talk about that later on. But let's just dive into this nice win. In fact, I'm going to call it the perfect script for the Celtics, because you get the win, 116-107. It's a nice team win. They got all five starters in double figures. Jayson Tatum has 27, Jaylen Brown 22, Porzingis 18, 15 for Holiday, 14 for White. What nice balanced scoring there. You get 9 from Hauser off the bench, 7 from Horford, 4 from Lamar Stevens. Lamar Stevens stepping up, giving the Celtics 9 minutes of play when Luke Cornett couldn't go. Late scratch for Luke Cornett. So Lamar Stevens gets the call, and he didn't hurt them, right? So when you're going to a guy off the bench like that, you just want a guy that's going to go in there and be the innings eater, right? You're looking for a guy in baseball terms to pitch the 5th, 6th, and 7th so you can get to the closers and get out of there without any damage. And that's what Lamar Stevens did. It missed a couple of threes. They weren't really close, but we knew coming in that was going to be a weakness. But he comes in. He had 3 fouls early. Honestly, I think in the first half, Joe Mazzulla, if he had 10 challenges, it might not have been enough for some of the foul calls that were coming in the first half, especially on Lamar Stevens. Yeesh. But hey, he comes in and does a decent job, right? Makes some hustle plays. Gets a nice dunk off of Al Horford's offensive rebounding. So team win all the way around. Everybody did something, top to bottom. Sam Hauser, that guy has been hitting 3-pointers. Like it's not just 3-pointers with Hauser. He comes in and he's getting these loose balls and just stepping into and releasing while people are trying to chase him down. He's hitting sidestep shots. He's hitting contested shots. I mean, honestly, Sam Hauser went from, okay, he's a good catch and shoot guy, and if you challenge him, he's not going to hit, to right now he's hitting everything. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could throw 5 guys at him, and somehow he's going to get that shot off. and it's going to fall. Amazing from Sam Hauser. Al Horford off the bench, 10 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds, 3 assists, part of a real key stretch in the fourth quarter where the Celtics really piled on the offensive rebounds. They got they had 8 second chance points in the fourth quarter. That's pretty amazing, actually, for the fourth quarter to be to get that many opportunities, to get 8 second chance points to Cleveland's 3. Al Horford was in there he got an offensive rebound, 2 for Jayson Tatum, 1 for Jaylen Brown. These guys all stepping up, 2 for Drew Holiday. The offensive rebounding was huge, and Al Horford stepping up off the bench to provide some of that spark. And really defensively, he had one play, I forget who it was that he defended, but followed him all along, challenged the shot. I think he got the block, got the loose ball, turns, fires a perfect outlet pass. I mean, just beautiful play all the way around. So getting contributions across the board from everybody. Jaylen Brown right away in the first quarter, stepping into his general first quarter Jaylen role. Then just a mix of everybody. Derek White, Porzingis, Holiday. Holiday was great. And then Jayson Tatum with 12 points in the fourth quarter. Good team win. And like I said, a perfect script here, because you play the Cavs tough. Everybody, you're listening, you're happy the Celtics win, right? And it was a double digits for a lot of the game. They never trailed, no matter what the Cavs did. They never even tied it up. So Boston comes out to the lead. They get the lead up to 14 early on. The Cavs stick around because they've got Donovan Mitchell. They got Darius Garland. Karis LeVert steps up with a huge third quarter. They're a tough team, man. They're tough. And whatever the standings say, I expect Cleveland to figure it out by the end of the year. Again, they don't have Evan Mobley. No Evan Mobley in this game. So the Celtics were able to hold off a very tough team. They did everything. I mean, Donovan Mitchell was trying everything he could to lead them back. They got as close as 3, but credit to the Celtics, man. They stayed in front, never gave up the lead, never gave up the tie. They just wire to wire win. So you got to enjoy a nice game. The Celtics stayed engaged throughout the whole thing because there wasn't a big blowout. They were there. They were fighting hard throughout the whole thing. So you're happy. The Celtics are happy because they beat a tough team. They stayed perfect at home, 12-0 at home. That's the only undefeated team left in the NBA. That's meaningful. That means something. So they're happy. Everybody got their touches, like I said. The entire starting 5 got good scoring production. Everybody felt like they were a part of this win. Everybody had something to do with this win. Coaches are happy because the guys went out there and kind of followed the game plan, stuck to the game plan. They never let up. They came out of timeouts. Good execution out of timeouts. So the coaches are, but also one of the things coaches love. Oh, this is when I say Joe Mazzulla is probably thrilled with this win, because not only did you get a good win where the guys seemed to listen, they executed all that stuff, like I said, out of timeouts were great, but also they kind of made enough mistakes where you get to win by 9, have a ton of good things that you feel good about, and then you get to go into film session and be like, oh, we did this wrong, that wrong, that wrong, and that wrong. So you still get to be like, don't get too full of yourselves, guys. And so everybody's happy. Perfect, absolute perfect script for this win. Sticking with it as they face the challenge. That's what you need. It's not about coming out to a 14-point lead. And yeah, of course you want to see them double it, right? You go from 14 to 28, and then let's get to 38. Let's get to 40. That's not how it works. The Cavs are not a bad team. Donovan Mitchell's really good. They had something to say about this. So I'm taking this as a really, really, really nice win. Not much else to say about just how nice this win really is. But I'll talk about the Jays because Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum played wonderfully. I gotta really shout those guys out before I get into the whole Mazzulla Ball thing. That is coming up. Today's show is brought to you by Dave. We've all needed financial help here and there from time to time. I know I have, especially early on coming out of college with the student loans and not making a ton of money right away. Oh, I wish I had something like Dave, because Dave can get you the cash when you need a hand between paychecks, can help you build credit by settling extra cash advances on time. Dave is the banking app that's leveling the financial playing field. When you download Dave, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. It's all part of Dave's extra cash account. Advance the money you need with no interest and then settle up later. So millions of people have already downloaded Dave to make their finances easier. If you're in a pinch, get the help you need by downloading Dave. Download Dave today at dave.com/LockedOnNBA. If you're on the YouTube page, you can see it right there at the bottom. Dave.com/LockedOnNBA. You can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com/LockedOnNBA. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Really love you being an everydayer, taking me with you wherever you go. Thank you so, so much. Now, when you're done with the show, let it roll into Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. So if you're listening on the way to work, get to work, pop on the YouTube page, put on Locked On Sports Today, just play it in the background. It's going to be all the big stories, in-depth discussion. It's basically sports talk radio on YouTube, but without all the other crap that's associated with sports talk radio. The Jays. This is, I think we're really starting. The next two segments are the overarching theme is we're really starting to see what we need to see. And it starts here with the Jays. Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. Let's start with Jaylen Brown, because a couple of weeks ago I did the piece on Boston Sports Journal and I did a podcast, and the general theme was Jaylen Brown is starting to figure things out. And I think I'm kind of ready to be like, Jaylen Brown has figured things out, because Jaylen, super aggressive in first quarters and setting the tone. So they're getting him going. It's the same formula every day. You get him going in the first, you get him 10, 12, 14 points. And then if you get him 10, 12, 14 the rest of the way, great. That's a great total. The counting stats, which are important to all of the things individually guys kind of want to see, that matters. So nice to see Jaylen Brown get nice to see the Celtics understand, let's get Jaylen going early. And he's been great. He's been great doing that. But then after that, he's been really, really, really good at moving the ball, not stopping, not being a ball stopper, not stalling the offense. He has been extraordinarily good. I mean, I cannot, at the beginning of the season, everybody, if you're a regular listener, a regular watcher, you're probably sitting there being like, oh, great, now you're figuring it out with Jaylen Brown. No, beginning of the season, it's been slow. It's been a slow progression. And there were real questions at the beginning of the season. But I also always was very clear about, it's early. I hope he can pull out of what he's going through. And it's been a slower type of progression, but now he's getting there. I can't tell you how many times I've seen him probe, pull out, and say, oh, nope, I'm going to move it. Because what he was looking for wasn't there. So he pulls out and he moves the ball, moves himself, gets the ball back, tries something else, right? That's what Jaylen Brown has perfected over the past 2 weeks. And he might say, hey, I've been trying to play like that all season long. It's like, and that's great, except, it's only started to show the past couple of weeks. And it's great that it's shown the past couple of weeks. This is the type of Jaylen Brown that is going to be one of the best players on a championship team. This Jaylen Brown can get the Celtics to a championship. He had 5 assists, team high 5 assists in this game. But even it's not the assists necessarily. Joe Mazzulla made this case after the first Cavs game. It's not just the assists. We look at that and say, oh, there's an assist column. He has 5 of those. That means he was passing the ball. And yes, it does mean he was passing the ball. But when he has 1 or 2, it doesn't mean that he's not. So I think it's shown up. It showed up in this game because the Celtics shot almost 51% overall. And when the ball goes in, guys get assists. It's very simple. That's so Jaylen's been playing great. And then Jayson Tatum, the fourth quarter, again, like he's so good. And Scal makes this point very, very well in the broadcast. Tatum is so good that it doesn't matter when he decides to start looking for his offense. He can go get his offense kind of whenever he wants. And he needed to do it in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown didn't score in the fourth quarter. Got a couple of assists, got an offensive rebound, missed a couple of shots. Okay, that's going to happen. But he didn't let that bother him. He only had 1 turnover in the fourth quarter. The ball went to other guys, and they found Holiday. They found a couple other, Horford got a shot, hit a big shot at the end. Derek White hit a big 3-pointer. So, but Jayson Tatum, 12 points in the fourth quarter, a +6. And, once again, the Celtics a late burst. Joe Mazzulla calls a timeout with about 3:01 to go. And the Celtics come out and go on a 6-0 run and kind of separate themselves. Side note, that's so funny because Joe calls a timeout and you're thinking like, wow, man, good timeout. That's a good timeout. He would not have called that timeout if he only had 2 timeouts left. If something had happened, so he had like 4, I think he had 4 timeouts left because you only go in the fourth quarter with 4. So he hadn't called a timeout yet to that point. And at 3:01, you can call that timeout because under 3 minutes, you can the maximum you have is 2. So because he had 4, he had kind of like 2 use it or lose it timeouts. He used the 1 because the Cavs, different, working my way the other end of the alphabet. The Cavs had cut the game to 5. So it was perfect timing. 3 minutes to 3:01 to go. Hey, boom, I can call this timeout. Let's reset. But he wouldn't have called that timeout if he only had 2 left. So just kind of funny little thing when people are like, oh, Joe might be learning how to use his timeouts. But like he's using them the exact same way he always would. But Tatum was huge after that. After that timeout, he comes out and just crushes. He has a dunk. He had 2 dunks and a couple of rebounds and was just shut the door. He came in and he shut the door on the Cavs. By the way, the Cavs, that defense, what the hell was that defense? I mean, I'll take it. You'll take it. But that defense down the stretch, I think they were just like kind of maybe done at that point. The second dunk, it was already 111, 102. And he gets to the rim and people are like, whatever. So But Tatum was huge. And this is exactly what the Celtics need. Jaylen Brown to start hot, and then you ride that hot hand for however long. Then he sits. Then Tatum starts to take over. And in the fourth quarter, you just kind of roll with it, and Tatum's the closer. Beautiful. Mazzulla Ball is not what you think it is. Mazzulla Ball is not just jacking up three-pointers. Mazzulla Ball is what we saw in this game against the Cavs. That's literally the best example of Mazzulla Ball that I can show you so far in Missoula's career. We'll talk about that next. Today's show brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy, super fun, because all you do is pick 2 to 6 players and you pick against the PrizePicks projections. They set the projections. Jayson Tatum points. I didn't know what it was coming into this game. 26, more or less. Well, you got 27. If you pick more, boom, you're a winner. You win 6 times, you can win up to 25 times your money. You want to have some real fun with this? Do a combo league, a specials league, where you can go into combine like NFL and the NBA and pick somebody's touchdown receptions and somebody's assists, more or less. Boom, you win. You get it, you win. And you know what? If somebody gets hurt, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about somebody going down with an injury in the first half, because if they do that and don't come back, that player's rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with injury insurance. That's great. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Here's the better deal. Here's an amazing deal for you. Use the code LockedOnNBA. You get a first deposit match up to $100. So you can deposit up to $100. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Sign up. Use the code LockedOnNBA, all lowercase. They will put another 100, up to 100, into your account. So PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out the Locked On NBA podcast. I'm one of the hosts, and we got a bunch of them rotating Monday through Friday, covering the league as a whole. Lots of conversation on the Draymond Green suspension, but that's not all that they're talking about, because they cover the whole league and in a very fun way. So go check that out. Joe Mazzulla, he steps in last season, becomes the head coach, and is flying by the seat of his pants. Celtics go out and they take a ton of threes. He encourages them to take the threes, take the open shots. Don't pass up a catch and shoot opportunity. If you're open and the ball comes to you, catch and shoot, fire it, go. So yeah. And that led to a little bit of a derisive, hey, Mazzulla Ball, quote unquote, Mazzulla Ball. And I think people just use the term Mazzulla Ball either to describe the Celtics as, oh man, they love that 3-point shot. 48 3-pointers in a game. Yeah, Mazzulla Ball, baby. And some of it's kind of like derogatory. Like, whoa, they can't stop jacking 3-pointers. That's Mazzulla Ball for you. What Mazzulla really wants from his team, what Mazzulla Ball really is actually what we saw against the Cavs, where guys were moving. I can't tell you how many cuts I saw. This was the most cutting I've seen from this team in a long time. And I don't see that. I don't think the tracking numbers are out, so I don't know how many cuts were actually tracked by the NBA cameras there. But I have to believe that was a lot more. There were a lot more cuts in this game. Now, a few of those, I can remember probably 3 that turned into turnovers, right? That somebody was cutting baseline and the pass was either too hard or it went to a different spot or whatever it was. I can remember at least 3 of those. Maybe there were a couple more. Fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with those turnovers. First of all, those turnovers went out of bounds. So not too crushed about a couple of guys maybe not quite connecting where they should. And that's something that when I say, hey, we'll get to go back into film and like tear the players apart about things that those are the types of plays that are going to be on the game film. Those cuts, those missed passes, and like the cuts, the recognition to cut, whether the timing was off or not, whatever, I don't really care. All I care about right now personally is that they did it. The fact that they were making those cuts, it's like, oh, yes, keep doing that and finding ways to reward these guys. The movement, the ball movement, the potential assists, the opportunity to get these guys some decent shots. That is partly Mazzulla Ball. And so are the three-pointers for sure. The 3-point shot is absolutely part of Missoula Ball, but that's not the only part. It's the defense. It's the offensive rebounding. It's the post-ups. It's all of it. All of that stuff is what Joe Mazzulla wants them to do. And part of this whole thing is the evolution of Joe Mazzulla as a head coach. He's not just coming in and saying, hey, everybody, shoot as many three-pointers as you can. Shoot anything you can, anytime you want. Go shoot them. What he wants is, what's the next right play? What's the right thing to do in this particular instance? Drive, get to the rim, get to the paint. Once you're there, like when you get the ball, you catch it. And you look and you say, what's the right thing for me to do in this moment? Whatever it is, do it. And if it's shoot, then shoot. If you get an open catch and shoot opportunity, shoot it. If you have an open lane, drive it. If you have an open teammate, pass it. Make those decisions, make them quickly. This is why I'm talking about Jaylen Brown, who's picking this up very, very well. Mazzulla talks about open-mindedness. This is so difficult for NBA coaches to get out of players. I'm so happy that Mazzulla referenced this attitude in his press conference where he said, you get some guys, and you probably heard guys say this. I'm betting you probably heard Jordan Poole say this, where you go to a team and the guy says, well, you know what? I'm just going to be myself. They traded for me. I'm just going to be myself. And Mazzulla was like, that's not how it works. And like, finally, a coach says it. That's not how it works. Yeah, we traded for you. We signed you, but not for you to do everything that you want to do. We signed you because of your skill set and traded for you because of a certain skill set. But also, as the season goes on, maybe we need you to do something different. The guys with the biggest egos say, I'm just going to do me, man. I got here being me, and I'm going to stay being me. And that could be somebody as big as, Carmelo Anthony, who never won anything in the NBA. That's an example. Some guys, I think of Allen Iverson, who, as great as he was, I remember like late in his career, I'm not going to do what the team needs me to do. I'm going to do what I do. I'm a starter, so I'm going to start. Chris Paul, like that type of thing. If anybody says, hey, I'm a starter, so I'm going to start. Russell Westbrook has done that recently, in recent years. What does the team need you to do? Jaylen Brown is buying in because that's what the team needs him to do. He's playing the way the team needs him to play. So what's the right play? What's the right thing to do in that moment? Is it get all the way to the rim? Great. Get all the way to the rim. Make sure you finish. Make sure you're making the right read when you get to the rim. Where are you on the floor? What's the other guy doing? Are you spaced? That's Mazzulla Ball. Be engaged, be open-minded when the team, and then, as he loves to say, success is different every day. So the Boston Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers by shooting 36 three-pointers in this game. They might need to shoot 50 three-pointers against Orlando, or maybe one game they might need to shoot 25. The whole point of Mazzulla Ball is be open-minded to what you need to do. When I ask you to do something different, are you going to do it or are you not? Because the coach can only say, do these things. And it's up to the player to actually do these things. He's getting these guys to be more open-minded and more just more open to, when he says success looks different every game, just to be more open to saying, hey, we were successful. I was successful today in my job because I did what they needed me to do. And that goes for all of those guys. A little less for Jayson Tatum for sure. But he, as he said at the end of the game, we all got to do a little bit less to achieve more, which is a great way to put it. Mazzulla Ball is not a style. Mazzulla Ball is not like set was it 7 seconds or less? It's not a style. It's more of a philosophy. It's just, are you willing to do all the little hard things it takes to win a basketball game? And if everybody on this team is kind of on board with that mentality, we're going to be okay. In a roundabout way, it is what those 2014 Spurs that Brad Stevens has been dying to replicate. It's kind of what they've done. It's that beautiful game. Why did the ball move so well for them? Why did they do so well offensively? Why did everybody feel engaged? Because everybody bought in and said, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to play for my teammate. We know what each other can do. If that particular play is for him or he makes that read, great, go do it. I'm not worrying about my shots. I'm not worrying about anything. It's easy to do when you got your money. So that's great. Maybe the timing was just right. It's easy to do for Jayson Tatum. No, he hasn't gotten that money yet, but he'll get that money. Like, basically he's gotten that money. So it's very easy for him to do as well. He knows he's getting that bag. So this is what Mazzulla Ball is. Not just three-pointers. People are going to say it when they take 53 pointers, but say it after this Cavs game, because the cutting, the moving, the defense, the offensive rebounding, the post-ups, that's all Mazzulla Ball. That's all part of it. Celtics are 12-0 at home. The last undefeated team at home in the NBA. They are dominating. And I got to give credit to these guys. All that stuff where we talk about, same old Celtics. That same old Celtics stuff is going away, man. It's not there. It's not there. Celtics are 18-5. They've won 78% of their games. Minnesota is right there with them. I feel like they're going to tail off. The Celtics, I don't know that they're going to tail off. We'll see. Back-to-back against Orlando. I'm not holding my breath. Back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. Maybe this is the stinker. Maybe this is their 12-1 after this. Hope I'm wrong. We'll see. I will be podcasting after that game. I will give you a post-game podcast, a bonus podcast, my 6th podcast of the week. So go subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on whichever app you use. If you're watching on YouTube, watch there, subscribe there, hop into the comment section. Let me know what you think. Tell me whatever you want to tell me there. And I would love it if you everydayers share the podcast, spread the word, tell your friends, tell everybody. They should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast. It's right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.